and welcome to Smiling in the Dark, the podcast where we, your resident smilers, put the kids to bed, unlock the front door, turn off the lights and smile our way through the horrors. One theme, one subgenre, and a sleepless night at a time. Talking of sleepless nights, Adam, are you doing okay?
I am doing okay. I'm
Good.
operating on about 2 hours sleep, but we will get through.
I didn't think that Widow's Bay was that scary, but it's non-Widow's Bay or even Smiling in the Dark related.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so we last episode we talked about the first 5 episodes of this new first season of Widow's Bay on Apple TV. We're back to discuss the back end.
Yeah.
And when we discussed it the last time, the first 5 episodes, we were both massive fans. We both loved it.
Yep.
Great mixture of horror mixed with humour, which was right up our street. So, if you want to, shall we just we'll get straight into the back 5 episodes?
Let's go for it.
Okay. So, episode 6 kicks off. I think at the end of episode 5, we sort of assumed that we were going to get a delve into the past at some point.
Yeah.
And episode 6 is definitely that. We get a standalone episode directed by Ty West, who is a revered horror movie director.
Yep.
The episode's called Our History, and it takes us right back into 1702. And immediately it features our boy, Hamish Linklater, who played Father Paul in Midnight Mass, as the town's founder, Richard Warren.
Yes. That's one of those where when you're watching something, you're like, I know that guy, but I just didn't look.
What if this was Father Paul's, no, it couldn't be. And we had Betty Gilpin, who's been in a bunch of horror movies herself, as Sarah Westcott, who we meet immediately. She is the newly betrothed wife of Richard Warren, and she's come to the island, and she has no idea what she's getting herself into. She is, I think she says she's 40. She says she's something like four and something years or something like that.
Yeah.
4 and 10 years, maybe.
So I think she's just desperate now to marry and, willing to travel, go to a weird island, all fine.
And she does a really good job of talking us through this episode, narrating the episode in the form of these letters, which we have seen referred to in previous episodes of this diary that she wrote.
Yep.
You've seen some Robert Eggers films, so you've seen The Witch or The Vitch.
Yep.
Haven't you? That's what I felt like this was like that mixed with like an Edgar Wright film. With some of the silly things that were going on as well.
Yeah. That's pretty good actually. Yeah.
So we get after the pair had been married on their wedding night, we get Richard, who is acting strangely, coldly towards his new bride. He abruptly leaves the house as soon as he hears the bells tolling, forcing her to stay and take care of the children. She is, I've got notes here, she's further isolated upon discovering that the island is plagued by strange illnesses, disappearances and fear surrounding Richard. So she sees a bunch of stuff, and I really like, so she sort of sees like dead bodies and crosses on doors, like there's a plague ongoing, and she's standing looking at something going on one time, and a woman goes, "You're a watcher." At her, and she's just like bouncing from these horrific scenes to the next.
Yeah, she's a good actress.
She's really good. Have you seen that film, The Hunt?
Yes. Yeah,
she's really good at that. I like that.
Yeah.
On one night, we have Sarah discovering Richard getting into a bit of debate with a local man with a cane, and I think that the man's basically accusing him of consorting with the devil. And we see Richard beating the shit out of this poor guy. Whilst Sarah cowers on the stairs. She later finds some sort of secret door underneath the house where she comes across this guy's cane. She goes to visit the pastor, who has previously said to her, look, if there's anything that you need help with, please come see me. He obviously knows that Richard's previously murdered his last wife.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, he got straight in there pretty much as soon as he saw this woman coming to the island and tells her to come see him if she has any troubles, which she immediately does when she finds this guy's cane. The pastor tells her that the devil made a deal with Richard. They're aware that he's already killed some people, including the first wife. She does a really good job of being like terrified. I don't really know how to describe it. She does this really good job of like sort of bouncing along while like everything's terrifying her all at the same time. But he believes that she was sent from God to save the town, and he asks her to leave the door open for them that evening.
Yeah, it's a bit of a no pressure, Sarah. Welcome to this place. You have to save us all. Bit of a sort of no pressure, but yeah.
But she does it. She leaves the door open. She's lay there in bed waiting, and this felt like sort of Hot Fuzz type stuff going on here. She leaves the door open. She's lying there cowering in bed, and we've got an assassin walks in, and he comes up and he lifts the knife at her, and she's nodding over towards it's him over there. So the assassin takes the knife to Richard Warren, but we're soon to understand that he comes down covered in blood, and it had no effect on him.
Yep.
Richard tells Sarah she's not to leave the house. He basically locks her in the house, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But she manages to find a way out, and she finds our place from episode 1 as she's trying to escape. She finds the sort of dungeon with the chair and all that. She manages to get out. She finds the pastor again, and he's sort of sat with peers, is he?
Mm-hmm.
And they come up with a plan to get Richard to drink poison now. So she's, I don't know what would make her think that there's going to be a different ending here.
Yeah. I suppose you're maybe just thinking anything's worth a try here. And then I sometimes do this. I put myself in the position of a character when I'm watching a program. I'm like, how would you handle this? I know. Well, firstly, I wouldn't be able to play it cool. She's trying her best to keep everything as normal within the household as possible so that he doesn't realise that she knows everything and is trying to kill him off and all that. But when she actually attempts the poisoning, I felt she got a bit blatant there. I mean, she was just so desperate for him to drink that drink.
Yeah. It's very clear he's not interested in what's the word you say? Something the marriage. What's the word?
Consummating.
Aye, that's the word.
Yeah.
She's trying to sell him on that, and he's clearly got other things on his mind.
Not a top priority. Sorry.
No. Does he call her a conspirator? You're one of them. You're a conspirator, and all that sort of stuff. He chokes her. Looks like he's going to kill her, but he's knocked unconscious by one of his children, who says, he killed my mother. Sarah tries to take the 4 children to a boat to escape the island. But before doing so, I think a sea hag comes after them. Does she let her a sea hag?
There's something, yeah. I will have been a sea hag, yeah.
And then we get the sort of conspirators from the island chaining Richard Warren up and putting him in a box, and they're going to bury him alive, which is really messed up, regardless of what you think he might have done. I think he's trying to explain to them without telling them what's happened and the pact he's made and all that sort of stuff. yeah, they bury him alive. We flash to present day. We have Wick digging up his grave, and he hits something hard.
Yeah. So I think one of the sort of questions I'd wondered in my mind was answered as we were going through this story, which is obviously we've been told if you are born on the island, you can't leave the island. And I always wondered, well, what does that mean? Does it mean you get to a certain point, you'll just die? Does it, what actually happens? And we see on the boat, like the kids start taking really ill. There's I think, vomiting blood and blood maybe coming from the eyes as well. Yeah. Because I had wondered, well, what is it that actually happens? So I think we kind of got the answer to that. And for all that Richard Warren was trying to bargain his way out of being buried alive, he really freaks out when he's told that Sarah is leaving with the children. They're leaving the island.
Yeah.
He absolutely freaks at that because he knows obviously what that's going to mean.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, did you like that episode as it's obviously part of the story? Like the first 5 episodes I've done, they stand alone almost, but they're part of the story.
I enjoyed it, and I felt like it was necessary. I think you needed something that was a flashback to give us a bit of an origin story about what we're seeing and experiencing on this island.
Absolutely. Okay, next episode is called Seasickness, episode 7. We get back to present day with our mayor, Tom. He still has his head down the toilet. The last time we saw him, I think the island was talking to him, or an entity of some description was talking to him. He'd had his mushroom trip. So, yeah, we meet him. He's apparently been asleep for a day on the toilet, which kind of sounds awesome, to be honest.
We've all done it, no?
No, I wish, man. It sounds like you do as well at this point in time. Wick calls him on the phone, tells him to come meet him and Patricia at the museum. They have dug up Richard Warren's coffin, which Tom can't quite believe. He's like, you've exhumed the founder of the island. And they're like, where is he? He says, where is he? And they're like, he's over there. And he goes, he's like, he's over there. And they're like, well, actually, he's up the stairs. It's just like, what?
I think it was blowing my mind a bit here how the rest of them were normalising what was going on here. Yeah,
that's fair. Is it here that Patricia has a cup of tea or a cup of coffee or something like that, and her hands are just completely shaken?
Yeah.
That's good. They say that they've tried to speak with or communicate with Richard Warren, but he will only communicate with the Lord Island Protector, which they assume is Tom.
Yeah.
So Tom is, he's been through a pretty traumatic experience, something that he never thought he would have to have done in the first place. He definitely didn't want to do. He's then spoke to some sort of demon entity. He's not even had time for a shower, thrust out the door, and now they're telling him to go and speak to a guy that was buried in 1702.
Yeah, it's a lot.
That's a lot. Yeah. So Tom heads upstairs. There's some good comedy here. Tom heads upstairs. For some reason, he's only got like a lantern type thing. They're not putting the lights on it, I assume, because that would have been difficult for Richard Warren. There's just little bits and pieces where he's really slowly walking towards him. He's sat, Richard Warren sat in the bed facing away from him, and every now and again Patricia comes in I'll just leave you two, and slams the door really, really hard. Tom picks up the notepad that Patricia's been trying to communicate with him with, and it says, the first one says, "Hello, I am Patricia," and then the next one says in capital letters, "Are you annoyed at something I said?"
That's classic Patricia.
Classic Patricia, yeah. So Tom is sitting reading something. I think maybe Richard Warren writes something back to him, and then he just says something. Tom practically hits the roof. He's like, "You could speak?" He's like, "Yeah."
Absolutely shits himself. I think understandably.
Richard Warren explains to Tom the pact he made. He tells him that he signed it with his own blood, feces, and semen.
Yeah.
Which Tom looks quite surprised at.
It's like, I mean, I think we've all heard about a blood pact before, but I think this seems to have gone quite a bit further.
It does indeed. He says that he's stored a signed copy. Oh, yeah, he's got the signed copy of the agreement inside this pendant that he wears, which Tom is holding, and he just gently puts it down with like a sort of grimace on his face after he says the feces and semen thing. And I don't know about you, but I wrote here, Tom mentions to, I keep needing to check his name, Richard Warren, that his son is stuck here on Widow's Bay because of everything, and I thought, is that maybe the first time he's actually said it to anyone?
It might have been. Yeah, I think we'd assumed, but yeah. We knew, didn't we? Because we saw she couldn't leave the island before the birth.
Yes.
So we knew, but yeah, I don't think anyone else there is aware, or I don't think he's said it to them anyway.
God almighty, I need to go back again. Richard Warren. I'll get there. He asks, he must be aware he's in the museum or something like this, because he asks to see his children's belongings. Yeah. And we see like a bust of Sarah Westcott, and he's like, oh, Sarah. And Patricia's like, oh, it's such a romantic moment. And then he starts gouging the eyes out of it, which class. Tom advises, no, that's not true at all. I've got Tom Warren here. So that's just a mixture of the two. Richard tells them that he thinks that the only way that he can die is if they take him outside the perimeters of the island, because the entity has no power outside of there. And he thinks that if they do this, his death will end the curse on the island. Yeah. Which is like quite a selfless thing to do. Yep. Has he had a lot of time to think about this, do you think, whilst he's being buried down there?
Yeah, I mean, he's going to change his tune a wee bit. He seems very selfless here, but then,
I want to live!
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I was actually sitting thinking, he's maybe just a bit misunderstood. He seems like a good guy.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah, things do change slightly. So Wick agrees to take him out to sea, but only if he goes back in the coffin. Wick knows the deal here. He knows that things turn quickly in Widow's Bay if you're trying to go against the island.
He's been there, he's seen it, he knows it all.
We have the sheriff turning up to check on a noise complaint, I think because Patricia screamed or something. She's like, don't worry, Tom, I've got this. She goes out to try and deal with it. It doesn't work very well, so she just grabs his keys and tries stealing his car. This is enough to just make the sheriff go, do you know what? I'm ready to fucking leave this island.
You can't blame this guy.
No, not at all. That's the straw that broke the camel's back as far as he's concerned. Tom and Wick take Richard out on the boat, and he hopes that he says something like, I'll rapidly age and die. They were originally planning to keep him in the coffin, but after Tom is told to go and check on it by Wick, he starts to sort of develop a bit of sympathy for him. We get a back and forth, hello, fuck off, fuck you, and all that sort of stuff, which is class. He comes back to Wick, and he's like a kid asking to go to the toilet in school. Yeah. He's asking if he can come out. And Wick says, I will never understand how you got this job. Which is class. He says, no way, definitely don't let him out. And then we quickly flick to Tom saying, I've already let him out, and Richard Warren's sitting at the table. Pretty funny. We get Wick talking about him accidentally causing the death of a childhood friend, and it's basically talking about how he's reluctant to get to the sort of outskirts of the island, the limits of the island. Things become violent and all that sort of stuff. The waters start turning against them as they get closer towards the outskirts. It's at this point that Richard Warren, like you say, starts to have a bit of a change of mind. I want to live. He starts becoming a bit scary looking.
I was definitely picking up on some Jaws energy here. You've got the three guys who are all very different characters. They're out at sea. It felt very Jaws, this sequence, to me.
Yeah, definitely. Richard Warren very quickly takes care of Tom and goes after Wick. Wick tells him to get the harpoon. It doesn't do. I thought we were maybe getting like a sort of again like Jaws harpoon, some action there, but no. They eventually, I think they managed. Did they manage to get him back in the coffin? They do, don't they? Eventually,
they do. Yeah.
We get Evan hanging out at home with one of the girls who's taken an interest in him. She's basically asking him, what's the deal with your dad? Mm-hmm. Evan's sort of saying he's a liar more than anything. So they end up going in amongst all his personal things, and Evan discovers some photographs of him and his mum, obviously after the birth. Yeah. He's confused by this because he was told that his mum died during childbirth. We get the boat with the three guys reaching the limits, and they're still in a tussle. Mm-hmm. And Tom kicks Wick out of the boat. He gives him the ring to save him, but he kicks him out the boat and takes Richard Warren outside the limits. And when he gets out there and looks in the coffin, his body is turned to dust.
Yep.
So we're sort of feeling like they've succeeded, but we also know it's episode 7, so something's going to go.
I did think to myself, "Oh, curse lifted," and then I was like, "Why would there be more episodes?"
Tom and Wick have what I would say, like again, like sort of Jaws-ish of two people who've bumped heads and then they come together. They have like quite a nice moment where like mutual respect and admiration, and they're happy.
I felt very warm when Wick, he was just really happy with what Tom had done. Nice moment.
And then we see, as the episode finishes, we see our local innkeeper basically kicking someone out of the local inn, but the camera pans in on someone in a painting in the middle of the sea, like holding on to something in the middle of the sea, which I did not understand. And I think I maybe only understand now what that is as I'm talking about.
As the guy is being kicked out of the inn, he says to the innkeeper, "You smell like cabbage."
Class.
That got me.
That guy is such an odd character, that innkeeper. It doesn't need to be. And I think that's what we were sort of really impressed with the last time we spoke about this series, that there's little wrinkles with all these characters. They're fully formed characters and they're only on screen for like seconds.
Yeah.
Which is great. Did you enjoy this episode?
I thought I think generally speaking, I enjoyed the first few episodes more than I enjoyed these. But I think it's probably inevitable that you have to focus on one story arc, which narrows the whole thing a bit. And you know that you're heading to at least a partial conclusion. I thought it was all well done. It made me laugh. It kept me entertained. There were episodes earlier that I enjoyed more, I would say.
Yeah, I think it's funny because I feel the exact same. I feel like I enjoyed the first 5 a lot better. But if we were sitting here saying these were all just random episodes and nothing really happened, then we would be, we would have an issue with that as well. So I agree with what you're saying. It does have to focus at some point. Our next episode was an episode that I was hoping we would get. It's episode 8 called Your Baggage, and it was a Boogeyman episode.
Yeah.
Absolutely delighted.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if we might get a flashback episode with the Boogeyman stuff. And then, do you know what I was thinking after watching the one that flashed back to 1702, before Richard Warren got buried alive, I was thinking, is Richard Warren the Boogeyman? And he's just been killing people to maintain order. But then obviously got buried alive, so that theory was in the dirt, no pun intended.
Dear.
Your Baggage, episode 8. we have Tom, Wick, and Patricia having breakfast together, and they are looking happy with themselves.
Oh, buzzing. The town is thriving. You can see as they look all around the cafe place that they're in, there's tourists. All is well. Everyone's having a great time.
Who cares about Martha's Vineyard at this point? They're
absolutely. Yeah.
Like you say, thriving. When Tom eventually heads home for the day, Evan confronts him about the photos he found of his mum.
Yeah.
We get some pretty hard-hitting emotional stuff here, and I think it could have been easily used to make Tom look like a little bit villainous, that he's obviously lied to his son to spare his feelings, and I think he says something like, whenever I think about it makes me sad, or I don't keep the photos around because it makes me sad, or something like that. But Tom tells or admits to Evan that his mum suffered a stroke during childbirth that left her mentally unstable, and he had to confine her to an asylum on the island. An asylum on this island does not sound like it would be a good place.
No.
Evan's not happy with this, but also when he starts to read some letters that his mum had written, they are, what would be a word to describe the letters? Kind of terrifying.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, you put yourself in the position of being Evan and having had that lie and being angry about that, probably as soon as you read these letters, fully understanding why, but still being totally pissed off about it.
Yeah. We're told that she did later die of an aneurysm in the asylum. And Tom does, the letters do enough, but Tom does say to him that she was not safe to be around. It's clear that Tom, now I think it's clear to us by this episode, that Tom is basically willing to do anything to keep his child safe.
Yeah.
And that's what this has all been about, really.
Yeah.
Later on in the episode, they do reconcile, and Tom talks about taking him to a Boston Red Sox game.
Yeah.
And it's all quite nice.
Yeah.
Nice father-son moments. We see Wick going to... Is it his friend's sister that he was talking about in the previous episode?
Possibly.
She is like the curator of the museum, I think,
yes.
that they have on the island.
Yeah.
He's talking to her. I think he goes to talk to her about what happened out there when his friend died.
Yeah.
But they are interrupted by her husband, who's just like, "Hey, Wick, you old dog, you," and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
It's kind of ruined the moment.
Yeah.
But it's here we find out that the boogeyman's mask has been stolen. So
I was very, very happy when I noticed that.
Wick goes to the boogeyman's house.
Yeah.
And it's all been opened up, and I think it was not touched at all, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was all boarded up and all that.
Yeah.
So that's been broken into. At home, Patricia is going about her business. She's got a very dissatisfying takeaway, it appears.
You would be furious.
She takes it pretty well. She says something like, "I don't want the person fired. I would just like them to learn from this," or something like that.
So like a roll, an empty roll and the sausage or something.
Single sausage, yeah. Her alarm, the alarm on her van starts to go off. So she goes outside to put it off. And I think she shuts the door as she goes out, and as she's come back in, the door is open. So clearly there's something funny going on. She's clearly uneasy in her house. She looks in her bedroom. It feels like someone's looking back at her. So she slowly but surely makes her way back out the house. She looks for her taser, but it only has 2% battery, which I think Patricia would be better organised than that, to be honest.
Yeah,
but
you got to keep your tasers charged.
There's been a lot going on, to be fair.
Yeah.
And they think the curse is lifted as well. So
so they're all quite relaxed now. Dangerous.
She makes it outside the house. She's looking up and down the street, and then the boogeyman appears, who is just like Michael Myers and Jason combined, basically, isn't he?
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. They've not. I don't think they've spent too long on the creative process for this. I think they've looked and gone. So it's basically kind of like that and kind of like that.
I love it. I love that it's just so blatant.
Yeah.
And he's just walking slowly
Yeah.
after her. She's sprinting up the street, banging on doors. Nobody's letting her in. There's a bit of Halloween homage there.
Yeah.
Eventually, she makes it to the house of these absolute bitches that were being horrid to her the last time.
Yeah.
They're trying to
those
have
guys.
themselves a wee book club.
Yeah. These people are the worst.
100%.
The absolute worst.
Especially the leader.
Yeah.
She's just horrid. They're basically like, what's she doing here? I didn't invite her. Let's try and get rid of her. They're calling her horrendous names.
Mhm.
They eventually get her to admit that she didn't actually... Was it that she didn't receive phone calls?
I think... Yeah. Was it all a lie or was it only a partial...
Just a partial. I think everyone had been getting phone calls, so she sort of wanted to fit in.
Yeah.
But she'd also said that she'd hid under the bed from the boogeyman and he'd went away. So she was the only person to have survived the boogeyman.
Mm-hmm.
But they're not. Now that she's said that was a lie, they would never believe her at all. Poor Patricia.
Is it when... Does one of them try to use the phone or something like that and then realise the phone line's out? It's like, I mean, if you've ever seen a horror film, here we go.
They clearly haven't. I like that Patricia decides to use one of her 2% to taser this woman at least.
Mm-hmm.
Morally not okay, but fair play. She deserved it. Yeah,
definitely.
So Patricia leaves, and the boogeyman comes, Jeff Hardy swanton bombing out of an upstairs window. But then, in classic Michael Myers style, he sits up and comes after her. He is subsequently hit by an ambulance, which is great stuff. And when Patricia comes to, she notices that a paramedic's at him, but the boogeyman stabs him, kills him.
Yeah.
And she runs off. This is a really good episode, actually. Now I'm talking through it. She gets to a petrol station, and I think she gets there as our sheriff gets there at the same time.
Yeah.
She runs. He's had enough of that last episode. Then he's standing chatting to the guy over the counter, and she comes flying in and asks for $20 worth of gas. And can you imagine what he must have been thinking? For fuck's sake, I need to get off this island. She does a brilliant thing where she sprays the petrol towards the boogeyman, who is still slowly walking towards her. And ignites it with her taser.
So good.
That's it. I love that the cashier's like, I don't think you're meant to do that. She's like spraying it about the courtyard. The boogeyman on fire is absolutely class. But the cashier comes running out and puts the flames out. So you know what's happening next. As soon as the smoke or the smoke clears, he's got him by the neck and kills him. He assaults the sheriff, cuts him across the belly. Patricia shoots him with a shotgun about 4 times or something.
Yeah.
And then we get the best scene of the episode as she follows him from the scene to the morgue, pointing the shotgun at him the whole time, just in case he gets back up. She's pointing it at him in the morgue. And then she finally lets the shotgun down when she sees his ashes after cremation.
Yep.
Brilliant. I think Patricia at that point learns that the sheriff's wife is pregnant. She tells him, get her off the island, and tells him about not being able to leave if he's born here. We get, as Tom and his son are having their beautiful father-son reconciliation. Wick knocks on the door and says, "The curse isn't over, Tom." God damn it, Wick.
Just let them have one night, you know. That was a really good episode. Obviously, we talked the last time about wanting a Boogeyman episode, and when I realised that's what it was going to be, I'd clicked for the time, and I thought, it's actually one of the shorter episodes, and we were already a bit of time into it, and I thought I would have liked more time on this. But without seeming too much, what they're able to cram in to that episode was really entertaining.
Yeah, 100%. I'd really liked. I think what I thought of when we had that episode where it was revealed that she'd survived, and I know the women were being horrible to her and all that. I wanted a flashback of all that happening, and maybe a reveal of some sort. And I thought the Boogeyman must have had some sort of significance around the island and the killings and the numbers that the island demands as sacrifice.
Yeah.
But I assume it's just yet another, like, not personification of the island, but like just another thing that it throws at people, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Okay. Episode 9, penultimate episode. It's only half an hour long.
Yeah.
Again, though, a lot fit into this one. I've got a lot of notes for this one, actually. So, this one is called Emergency Shelter, and kicks off with us back in 1702 with, like you mentioned earlier, when Sarah is fleeing the island with, God damn it, what's his name? Richard Warren's children.
Yeah, that's it.
When she's fleeing with Richard's children, they all start, like you said, they're bleeding from the nose, from the eyes, and then the daughter, I think she's called Frances, falls off, and the fog is so thick around them that she can't be seen. And I guess we find out that she makes her way back to the island.
Yeah.
In the present day, we've got a violent storm approaching Widow's Bay. We've got Patricia and Tom sitting in his office, and there's this old guy just appears out of nowhere and starts just monologuing about the old storms.
I love this because we've seen this already, and Wick was one, but he's ended up being a central part where there's like your classic horror film doom warning guy.
Yep.
And the way that Patricia just shuts the door on his face.
He's still talking. He's still going. It's amazing. Patricia is trying to get Tom to sound the sirens and activate the emergency shelters. I never really got why. Does Tom see the painting on the wall and he's like, and it's Richard Warren, and it pisses him off?
I think so. Yeah.
Right. Whilst she's trying to convince him to get the shelters going and put the sirens on, he goes over and starts ripping a massive painting off the wall. Rather than help him, Patricia realises that his child is in the painting and she's missing a finger, so she goes to consult her notes or the diary entries. She understands that this to mean that if she had lived and she had a family, then Richard Warren's bloodline would still be on the island, and that would help them to understand why the curse hasn't been lifted.
Yeah.
Tom really struggles with this giant painting. We get, is it Rosemary's saying, "No, I'll help you," and she's like pushing it down on top of him. Meanwhile, there's a guy, is it Kevin or Kenny or something, is like trying to help him, and she's like, "No, stand back, I've got this." It's this sort of randomness.
It was good. It's just weird. It's funny, but yeah, it's entertaining.
Tom, after this revelation and having been crushed by this painting, is pretty much a broken, defeated man.
Yeah,
and says for the sirens to be sounded. Sheriff Bashir and his wife are taking Patricia's advice and trying to leave. Yeah. But both the storm and the basic lockdown of the island are meaning that he's not going to be able to leave. And despite him saying, I think he tries to take the boat out himself, but our boy Wick tells him not to be foolish. You've got a family to think about. Okay, we have we should start again. We see them getting all the residents of the island into the shelters, but one of the generators is gone. So Tom is trying to establish what needs to be done. So we've seen this character that lives in the lighthouse before, Garrett, and he's clearly just an idiot. Didn't we see him? They were trying to get him for the annual swim, and they were trying to get him to do something. He's just like happily going about his day on his bike and stuff.
He's an odd guy, is Garrett.
Definitely is. So Tom is trying to get him to bring like something over to help them get the generator going. Yeah. He's definitely less than helpful. So Tom thinks that he'll go to the lighthouse and get it, but when he gets to the lighthouse, Garrett has left a message saying, "Gone to help at town hall." I love that Tom's looking over with the binoculars and he sees Garrett in the town hall, also with binoculars looking back, and he just waves to him like, "Oh, hi."
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I love that.
Garrett then on their walkie-talkies is like, "Oh, I'll come back," and Tom is like, "Just stay there." He's so close to losing his shit. He makes his way back to town hall, and our guy, the shaman, appears, who he calls Tom Wick still. He still thinks he's Wick.
Yep.
Hey, Wick! He gets taken away by the storm away up in the air.
Oh, yeah. The tornado is pretty menacing looking, but I don't know why. I just wasn't expecting somebody to be taken all the way up. But there he goes.
Was class.
The poor shaman.
We also, round about that time, we have Wick asking Rosemary, who appears to be some sort of genealogy or something expert. We have Wick asking her to help investigate Richard Warren's family. And then we get like this sort of genius montage of her going through the whole Warren family from the 1700s to current day, where they're like screaming at her because she's using slurs and talking about different people in certain ways.
Yeah.
It's quite funny.
And every time she starts doing it, she kind of sidetracks herself a wee bit. When she starts using the slurs, and they have to, not just for the purpose of, you can't say things like that, but also, can you just get back on track and tell us who the fuck it is?
But she's just genuinely interested. She's obviously wants to just talk about it, and they're like, and she even says something like, "I could go into that if you think we've got enough time," and they just look at her like, "Get on with it."
But what was going through your mind about who it was going to be? Did you have a thought?
I don't think I did. No. Did you?
I thought it was gonna. Well, I thought it was gonna have been Tom's wife's mum or something like that. I thought I had in my mind that the line will go through there. Maybe didn't work out exactly the way I thought it would, but I had an idea that this.
You were spot on then.
It must involve Tom. That's what was in my mind.
Nice. They do mention Ruth being at home alone at some point in this episode, and then obviously that comes back to be a crucial part of the story. So the thing I was going to say about that Rosemary, I think it's either in this episode or they're like talking about all the work that she did, but she was taking ages, and she's like, "I guess I'll just go fuck myself then," or she's walking away. So it is revealed that Ruth, who is Tom's secretary, is not aware of her family roots, but she is the current living descendant of Thomas Warren. And she was...
Yes.
She must have been Frances. Yeah, she was the descendant from Frances, who had made her way back to the island.
Yes. Yep.
Tom and Wicker, they're 100% down. Like, they know that they have to kill Ruth. That's it.
Just go and kill Ruth, yeah.
Patricia's not having any of it.
She's absolutely horrified by this.
Wick doesn't help by saying, "Just to do a gunshot to the back of the head, nice and quick," and she's just like, "No." during this sort of debate back and forth about killing Ruth, Tom receives a phone call from, who is Mitch? Who did he receive that phone call from? Is it someone out in the water or something like that? Because the guy's going, it's going.
Yeah, maybe.
But anyway, that sort of spurs Tom into action to go and find Ruth at her house and kill her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't see it going here. Like I said, I think I said in the last lot of episodes that we talked about, I thought Evan would do something that would trigger all this. I thought him and his pals would do something, and whilst they do in the last episode, it's not what I thought they would trigger something big, that basically the island to go mad and start taking prisoners, which it has done.
Yeah.
But it doesn't seem like, has there been a catalyst for? Oh no, the catalyst has been them killing Richard Warren, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Aye. Okay. Final episode.
Yeah.
Episode 10. We hope you enjoyed your time. Good 45 minute, or I thought we might. I was glad it was a longer one. It felt like there's a lot to happen. So it's a really good episode. I like this last one.
Yep.
We follow Tom directly from the last episode. He is going to check on Ruth's medical records. I think he's saying, please cancer, as he's going through it or something like that.
I think he was, yeah.
There's a note in her records that tells her not to take 2 tablets at the same time. And he's like, yes, bingo. So he reaches Ruth's house. He speaks to them on the walkie-talkie. You've got Patricia going, you don't have to do this, Tom. And in the background, Wick's going, yes, you do. Should have sent Wick with him. He's ruthless.
Yeah, this maybe should have been Wick's job. Like, I think Patricia, it's a funny thing, because Patricia is this character that's done some pretty questionable things through this, but ultimately is this really sympathetic character.
Yeah.
And I'm watching it thinking, not you can't do this to Ruth. I'm more thinking, you can't do this to Patricia, Tom. You can't do it to her.
We have Ruth. We have Tom entering the house where Ruth has got her headphones on. She's walking on her, what do you call that? She's walking on a thingamajig.
Yeah, steps machine, whatever.
Stepmaster type thing. Treadmill.
Yeah.
She's looking very sprightly for, I think she's 80. She's looking very sprightly. And she is like quite heartwarmed to think that Tom is there to take her back to the shelter. I think she says something, I thought you would have forgot about me or something like that. Tom says, the storm's a bit wild. Let's hunker down here for a while. And we get like little bits and pieces. Like he's looking at her calendar and it's like completely packed full. She's talking about like sort of volunteering work that she does. She goes running up the stairs like she's like 18 years old sort of thing. And you can see on Tom's face that he's like, oh shit, I don't know if I can do this. But as he's sort of debating with himself in the bathroom, he comes across her pills in the bathroom cabinet, and he's clear what he has to do, and she offers him a cup of tea, and she says, I make my own herbs, and this one takes 27 minutes to stew, and he's like, what? Give me another one. It's funny because he's like obviously trying to come across this cool demeanour, like nothing's wrong, and he's clearly panicking inside.
Yeah.
So whilst they wait the 27 minutes for her tea to stew, she gives him a tour of her house. Back at the shelter, supplies are running low. We have a really fucking weird bit where the sheriff's wife is being examined by the doctor and he's humming Phantom of the Opera.
Yeah.
Whilst he's giving her an exam to see if she's in labour.
Yeah.
And the sheriff's kind of looking at him like, well, what is happening here? He takes him outside. She says, is everything okay? He says, yeah, everything's great. Nothing to worry about. Takes the sheriff outside and said, "Your wife will give birth tonight." He's very straightforward, this doctor, and the sheriff says, "That can't be happening." He says, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know you went to medical school," and just walks off. Quite the bedside manner. We see Evan and his friends getting a bit bored, and they've found a bunker, a tunnel that leads them to a bunker with a cellar door.
Why is it with kids that they just can't leave damn well alone and just stay where they're supposed to be?
Just sit still and chat.
Yeah.
We have this character, Dale, who works in Tom's office, who is quite a peculiar looking guy.
Yeah.
And he's always got a sort of slack-jawed, not really sure what's going on look on his face. He has been sent to go look for games by Patricia to try and keep people occupied. But instead he discovers these films. They're very Dharma Initiative, these films.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And these are like, they're basically, what am I trying to say? That they're like videos directed at people that would be in this room, and it's like, congratulations, you have been chosen to be sacrificed for the good of the island, sort of thing. The guy's all like smiley and jolly and all that.
It's so weird. Every video that we've seen played in this has been creepy and weird.
Yeah. Remember that one, the one that's telling them information about the island? The guy just walks away off in the distance and just keeps on walking.
It just keeps going. It just keeps going.
We go back to Ruth and Tom. They're looking through her photo album. She makes mention that, she must show about 8 different photos, and mentions that these 8 different men all made a pass at her, including one of the priests who she described as a father figure. Interesting.
Yep.
He's talking to her about Widows Bay being cursed, and they talk about a theory called the trolley problem theory, where it's basically a theory of if you could ensure that just one person died over a great amount of people died, then surely you would take that choice, right? Ruth interestingly says that she would never choose to harm another person, and that she would not choose to do that, as bad things just happen, and that's just the way of the world. Quite an interesting conversation they're having, going back and forth. Tom finds the brooch, which sort of proves that she is a descendant of Francis Warren.
Yep.
The timer dings, and he goes to pop the crushed medicine into her tea. Back to the shelter, Rosemary tells the sheriff that she was made to do a genealogy on Ruth, and he's just like, "Patricia, what is going on here? This poor guy, he was trying to leave a couple of episodes ago.
Just doesn't need any of this. Poor guy."
He tells the doctor to barricade the door, and does Patricia tell him what's going on? She must do, because he ends up going to Ruth's house.
Yeah.
Tells the doctor, barricade this door and don't let anybody in. We see people like getting rowdy in the shelter because the supplies that they're giving them, the water and the food and all that's like mouldy. And the monologuing guy pops up again, starts talking about how long they'll have to batter down for.
Yeah.
He's brilliant. They should have him in every episode. We get these guys like fanning about the lights for some reason. I take it they're just trying to make it like make matters worse, sort of thing.
I didn't know if they were just trying to make it stop, like all of the recordings playing into the room and stuff like that.
Right. Okay. So we get this message over the tannoy that seems to be indicating that people are going to be led to their death. And it's at that point that Dale comes out of that room in the corner, and again he's like this slack-jawed, horrified look on his face. And I would say that Patricia's maybe starting to get on top of the chaos. Yeah. And he comes out and just goes, "This place is a death trap!" People start going mental. I really like that. I really like the way he did that. We have back at Ruth's house. She's fallen asleep. And Tom is... I actually can't believe he's doing this. He's picking up a cushion. He's got to smother her.
Yeah.
But she wakes up and out the blue starts telling him this story about how she had an affair with a married man that led to a pregnancy, and she gave the child to the married couple, right?
Yeah.
And that turned out to be Tom's wife. And obviously that means that Evan is a descendant of that Warren line.
Uh-huh.
And honestly, I felt like the acting for Matthew Rhys was unbelievable when she reveals that. He's like proper horrified.
Yeah.
I thought it was amazing.
It was really well done. And I, like, because I'd mentioned, I had in my mind that's the way it would go, but you don't quite know how you're going to get there. Like, you don't know, her affair, married man, and then, that stuff. But the realization as it all comes together for Tom, he played that very well. And
amazing.
Then the sort of helplessness, like from as soon as that's said, he knows.
Yeah.
And he knows that the line goes to his son.
Yeah.
And what decision does that leave you? Especially with what you talked about earlier, how they've built up and built up and built up, how Tom would do anything for his son.
Yeah, 100%. And you could argue, like, is he bringing in all these people to the island because he knows his son can't leave the island, and therefore he wants more for his son than create
a real world there for him.
And of course, he's also poisoned this 8-year-old woman who's now found out is like his mother-in-law as well. So he just...
Does he slap the tea out of her hand or something like that? Yes.
Because she goes to take another drink.
Yeah.
He says, I need to take you to the doctor. And they're sharing a bit of a hug. Maybe he's picking her up. It's like they're in a hugging pose. And the sheriff just comes through the door and shoots her.
Yeah.
To be fair, he is also in a position where he's doing anything for his child.
Yeah.
So Tom tells him, like, again, Tom's screaming at him. She's not the last descendant. I really like that acting. The sheriff has got the blinkers on now, and he demands to know who it is. And Tom is just saying, I don't know. And he's like, you're always lying, the sheriff. They've really, like, broken him down to, like, nothing, haven't they?
Yeah.
It's at this point when we're back at the bunker that Evan and his friends have found this, like, they found the chair and the door and all that. And this guy, Kenny, comes along and he's like, come on, guys, get out of here. And they lock him, well, the little surfer dude locks him inside. And
that little surfer dude's a prick.
Absolutely. We don't see anything, but it's clear that poor Kenny's been sacrificed to the island, I think.
Yeah. Is Evan's listening, isn't he? Because he'd initially tried to get the door back open, and then he can hear what's going on the other side.
And pretty much as soon as that happens, the storm stops and we get quiet. Ruth is somehow alive.
Mm-hmm.
Is this a supernatural thing, or do you think that that's coincidence? Plot armor?
Not sure. Because, I immediately thought, as soon as it came out that Evan is the next in line, I thought, I wonder if Tom's wife really is dead. Because I thought, I wonder if she's still there as well within that line. Because obviously we've already debunked, and we know that she didn't die in childbirth. We knew she was in an asylum, and then he said that she had subsequently died. And I thought, is that going to come back into the picture? So I thought that Ruth just would be dead, but nah.
I don't think I understand how Richard Warren survived being buried for 300 years.
Yeah,
I don't think I understand that, because when they were showing Ruth was like really sprightly, I thought, is this an indication that she has some sort of supernatural I don't know what, something to her life, and then they've showed obviously that she's been shot and got back up.
Mhm.
I don't know.
Possibly, except then could it be if the person, if with Richard Warren having died, does that boost her supernatural elements?
Maybe.
I don't know. Yeah, who knows? They could go anywhere with that, to be honest.
There is something that I wanted to mention about, just if we're going to go into that. So it's obviously she mentions all these guys taking passes at her.
Mm-hmm.
And we've seen that Evan, like the girls like Evan as well.
Yes.
So do you think the island makes the descendants more appealing because it wants to continue its bloodline?
That would make sense.
It like forces people towards them.
Uh-huh.
And I think Tom said something about falling in love with his wife really easily. Mm-hmm. Something about her laugh or something like that.
That would be an interesting wrinkle because the seeds are already there for that.
Yeah. So Ruth has survived the gunshot. They take her to a doctor. The following day, we see Tom down at the water. He throws the brooch thing, the heirloom, into the sea. I don't know what the significance is. Is that so that people don't know about Ruth being a descendant? Maybe
it's the only thing I can think of. Yeah, because he had shouted to the sheriff. Obviously, she wasn't the last, but then I think when the sheriff had the gun pointed at Tom, saying, "Who is it?" Tom was indicating he didn't know who it was. So obviously, anything that's any kind of link anywhere, he doesn't want to be.
Right.
Yeah.
And as the credits go down, the church bell rings 8 times, suggesting that 8 more sacrifices are required.
Yeah.
Something that I'm not sure. Obviously, a lot of people have died as we've been watching it.
Yeah.
But they obviously don't count?
Yeah.
Because I wondered if the boogeyman killing people counted towards them. I've obviously spoke about that already, but they clearly don't.
Yeah.
Because if the bell rings, it rings 9 times, doesn't it? Signifying 9 sacrifices.
Yep.
And that's why they have this room and all that, obviously.
Yep.
To take 9 people and sit them in the chair. It's really messed up. What do you think's under there? Like a Kraken type thing?
Yeah, maybe. I wanted to get a bit more, but then it became pretty obvious we're going to be heading towards another season at least of this.
Mm-hmm. Somebody was talking about tentacles. It was Wick when he was talking about his friend dying, wasn't he?
Yes. Yeah, I think that's right.
Tentacles grabbing him.
Yep.
I like that we've not seen anything, to be fair.
Uh-huh.
It keeps open the possibilities of what it is or what it's not.
Yeah, you can, with where they've left the story, you can go absolutely anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I've got little bits and pieces I was going to mention, but is there stuff that you'd like to? How do you feel? Are you keen to watch more?
Yeah, I would be. I enjoyed it. I think, as I mentioned earlier, I thought the first 5 episodes were excellent, and there were good episodes within this as well. The last episode was good. The Boogeyman episode was good. And I think I really leaned into the overarching story, but with each episode having its own contained story as well. That works for me. I enjoy that kind of thing. I think there's some really interesting characters in here. You've got, I think Patricia's one of the best characters I've seen in anything. It's a brilliant character.
Brilliant, aye.
Wick's fantastic. Tom is very good, and you now know you have this additional element for him in that the stakes were already high, but now. So yeah, I really enjoyed this. I think it was a good find. But I think before we suggested doing it, I'd had in my mind as something I was going to watch, and I've not been disappointed by it. I've really enjoyed it.
Nice. I think the motivation coming into season 2 for Tom is like he's going to want to kill this curse once and for all, because he wants to get his child off of there, doesn't he? He wants Evan off of there to experience a proper life, which changes it from he's went from a guy that's a skeptic, and he even says that about his wife, doesn't he? That when he was speaking to Ruth, he said that his wife told him all about the island, and he remained skeptical. And even after he knew that she died, he still brought people here.
Mm-hmm.
His motivation is going to completely change. It's a good character arc, to be fair.
Yeah.
What was I going to tell you? Ruth. So there was what I thought was hints at something like vampires or zombies or werewolves, and whether it's something to be looked into more in season 2, or if it's just like a fun Easter egg type thing. Because Ruth mentioned one of the men, it might have been an ex-husband or one of the men that made a pass at her, was bit by an animal and turned into it.
Yes, she
and
did.
Then when they were in the doctor's area in the shelter, there was what to do if you've been bit by this animal, this animal, then what to do if you've been bit by a person.
Yeah. I noticed that. I picked up on it, and then I thought, is this meaningful, or is this just because so much I think is just put there to mislead, misdirect people, because there's so many quirky elements, but everything they could circle back to any of that, and that poster really caught my eye. And you're thinking, there's a reason they're showing us this. If you've been bit by a person.
There was also a funny poster that was like how to take down someone. I suppose it makes more sense because once people find out that they're going to be sacrificed, they might become violent or whatever.
Yeah.
So that makes a bit more sense. But that other one, be interesting to see if that goes anywhere.
Yeah.
There was something that the guy on the video said something about don't try to reassure them because the entity likes the taste of the fear. And that's very Pennywise. That's what they said about Pennywise. But the way the guy said it, he's like smiling and all that. That's funny. There's so many nods and winks at so many different things. And like you're saying about the boogeyman, it's just like, let's not even bother trying. I don't think it's like in a lazy way. I think it's like in a fun way.
Yeah, it's everyone knows what this is. We're leaning into what this is, so enjoy.
What else was I going to mention? So the show has been officially announced for season 2.
Yep.
Which is good news, and it's received 19 Emmy nominations. Lead actor for Matthew Rhys, supporting actor for the guy who played Wick, supporting actress for Patricia Shirley, you'd like to think. Both Hamish Linklater and Betty Gilpin got nominated for guest actor and actress, and directing and writing as well. Which,
nice.
Writing, you would like to think that's a shoe-in as well.
Yeah, very good.
Of these back-end episodes, did you have a favourite episode or scene?
I would say episodes, it was either the Boogeyman one or the last one. I thought they were both very good episodes. Scene, I really liked a lot of the Richard and Ruth stuff.
Nice.
And I think that moment, very well acted moment where he hears that his wife was within that was her daughter. He just like you mentioned it, he acted it really well. He just went to pieces and quite spectacularly. So I'd probably go for that, I think. What about you?
Nice. The one I'd noted was when Dale comes out of that room and just his face. I think if in a full-on dramatic series that'd have been quite hard-hitting, but because you've got the levity dotted around it, I don't think it takes away from it, but I think in a full-on dramatic it would have been the same with that scene that you mentioned there as well.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, that's our little excursion to Widow's Bay.
Yeah.
A good one.
Yeah, I'm glad we went. Yeah.
Nice. Okay, let's let's find out if you've been watching much else since the World Cup's finished now.
Yeah, the only thing I definitely watched a few more episodes of Tales from the Crypt, which I enjoyed. They've added them all now to Shudder, like every episode, every season, which is great. And they're so hit and miss. Like you'll have one on and you'll kind of be laughing to yourself thinking this is terrible, but then there'll be a great one just round the corner. And I think it must have been off the back of us watching Hereditary. I just decided to watch Midsummer again. Just, yeah.
How was it?
Really good.
Amazing.
It's absolutely brutal. Like the story, and it's really well done in that the boyfriend, I forget his name. The boyfriend when they go on holiday and before they go on holiday, he's really a bit of a prick.
Oh, really? Aye.
And so you don't really go through any stages of sympathy for anything he's going through. But at the same time, you're kind of left thinking, so is she just now fully leaning into all of this now? I just really, really enjoyed watching it again. Very
amazing.
Very well done. That was the only thing I could really think of that I've sat and watched. What about you?
Okay, so completely finished seasons of Peaky Blinders.
Yep.
And watched the film The Immortal Man, which was fine. It's okay. I think quite glad to be finished on it. The first maybe 4 seasons really enjoyed. 6 was definitely a bit of a slog for me.
Okay.
But I get a bit like that towards the end of things as well. I just like, I think I'm done. And my wife's like, you need to finish it. And I'm just like, no, I'm all right. It's fine. I do that with most things. So, I watched this documentary called Predators about Dateline NBC and To Catch a Predator.
All right, okay.
Chris Hansen was like obviously sort of main part of through it as well. It was quite good. I quite enjoyed the bits going back and the sort of it was talking about it now from a morality point of view, and you only so it was used to glorify catching these people, but then never really giving them a chance. There was footage that they'd recorded afterwards where they were speaking to the detectives and things like that. I'm not sure how I felt about them sort of trying to humanise these people that have been caught doing what they've been doing. It was quite a weird, I felt quite a strange angle to take. So I probably wouldn't. I enjoyed the start of it where it was like going into like where it came from and Chris, what's his name?
Hansen.
Chris Hansen, like where he came from and his motivation and all that. I found that enjoyable and interesting, but then when it started going into this sort of morality part, it lost me.
It's surely very, very difficult to get sympathy for these, if that's what it was going for.
It did seem like that's what it was going for.
Yeah, okay.
And finally I went to Pictures to see The Odyssey.
Oh, how was that?
Oh, tremendous.
Oh, good.
I would say quite horror-centric in quite a lot of parts.
Okay.
Like obviously there's like sort of fantastical elements to it and monsters and stuff like that, but a lot of that sort of build-up of dread and darkness, which was brilliant.
Okay.
Overall,
good.
really incredible film. I'd really recommend seeing it.
Nice. Thanks.
So yeah, that was it.
Excellent.
Shall we talk about what we're going to do for season 2?
Yes.
Have we spoke about that already on?
I'm not sure.
Last episode. So season 2, Smiling in the Dark, where we obviously started season 1 with our introduction to various subgenres, which was fun, but we're going in a very focused direction rather than all over the shop as far as the genre is concerned. So we're going to go and focus specifically on Mike Flanagan. We're calling it Into the Flanaverse.
I like that.
So we will take in pretty much most of his films and Midnight Mass as well. So we will be discussing Absentia, Oculus, Hush, Before I Wake, Ouija, Origin of Evil, Gerald's Game, and Doctor Sleep. and finishing up the season with some Midnight Mass discussion, split into episodes, and back to some Hamish Linklater.
Yeah, very good. Have you, other than Midnight Mass, have you seen much that's here?
Just Gerald's Game and Doctor Sleep, and I absolutely loved Doctor Sleep, so
Yeah,
I don't need an excuse to watch that again. Enjoyed Gerald's Game, but the other ones, no, I've not watched them.
I've seen Doctor Sleep. I've seen Gerald's Game. I've seen Hush, and I've seen Midnight Mass. I think the others will all be new to me. I'm really keen. I've only ever watched Doctor Sleep once, so I'm keen to watch that again. Gerald's Game is maybe not the easiest watch, but it's very good.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be a fun rewatch, that one. But yeah, I'm sure some of these will be excellent.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. It's always good to get films which have got like a good pedigree that you've maybe not seen before. So
yeah,
cool, excellent. Well,
yeah.
Thanks for taking the trip with me to Widow's Bay. Glad you enjoyed it.
I did, yeah.
And we'll get into Flanagan. What did I say? Absentia to start with?
Absentia, yep. Excellent.
Cool. Right. Well, you keep enjoying, and I hope you get some good sleep tonight and
Thank
catch
you.
up. Okay. Cheers just now.
Cheers.